This is the Long War. I'm Rob Baer, and joining me tonight are my partners in crime, Kevin Boucher, Wyatt Turk, and Jake Jacobson from Frontling Gaming. What's up, guys?
Yo, Doc, great to be here.
Yo, what's up?
How's it going? Thanks for having me. Finally, we did it.
He figured it out. He got it.
He's a smart man.
Oh, wasn't that hard?
Kenny almost messed it up though. That's all right.
I am Asian after all, like Kenny was saying. You know,
I
no
did
idea.
not say that at
counts
all.
for something.
Yeah, nobody said that.
I made no
You can't
reference
just
to
an
know
that.
that.
observation.
I'm shook.
So, Jake Jacobson, Frontline Gaming, what's your current job title? I know I talked to you at LVO in person and you gave me some intel, but for everyone listening at home.
For sure. I'm officially the vice president for Frontline Gaming, so I'm one of the administrators for the company. I've been behind the scenes for a little bit, just kind of helping out, just because Reese and Frankie have been friends for a while now. So like that was more on the marketing end, the branding end. So like kind of all the cool like new visuals and stuff I've had a hand in.
Hmm.
And so events and FLG events being a big part of the Frontline Gaming ecosystem is something that I've had a lot of experience in. So when I formally came on board, was it last October? No, it was the October before then. So 2 Octobers ago, I naturally events just kind of fell under my purview since then.
So
But
you're
now,
essentially like their event coordinator now. Is that
that
also your
works.
job?
That works. I'm not really like big on titles, like literally like whatever anybody wants to call me.
All right.
I'm okay with.
We'll have lots of great questions to ask you as we move through the show, just trying to
Yep.
establish your credentials for the
Wide
audience.
open.
And
Oh, so it's like an interview.
no,
Oh,
I mean it might be.
I'm
'cause
down.
The
I'm
current
down.
format is I'm gonna be relying heavily on the audience. You're listening to me right now. So Q&A, subject to which I'm gonna keep it gangster, is what does LVO do? Ask questions that you want Jake to answer, and
what's on your mind?
we'll put those and populate those toward the end of the show once we get through the news and we have a couple of show notes to go over to kind of get Jake in the mood. You know what I'm saying? And but first, as is tradition, we have a Peabody Award-winning segment here on the show. So we're gonna roll out to the Cave of Wonders and touch nothing but the lamp with a classic Would You Rather with White Turk.
Yeah, dude. Just pulling one from the ether today. Thought it would be kind of fun. So, would you rather fight 10 coordinated angry crows or one honey badger?
Oh, God.
That's technically a murder of crows, correct?
It is a murder. Yes.
Ooh, I don't like those titles.
Oh wait, my turn.
There's some really funny ones.
No, you got to ask questions. So one straight honey badger, like I know there's different breeds. We've investigated them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like whichever honey, like the cartoon honey badger that is just.
We're talking classic mid-sized honey badger that's immune to venom, poison, bleed damage, slash resistant. Like we D&D'd a fucking honey badger before, like stat wise. Like they're hard to fight.
Yeah,
Oh,
no
I
joke.
can tell. I got some DM vibes there. Is the would you rather for the audience or is
It's
it
us.
for?
It's
No,
us.
it's just for
Oh,
you.
it is us. Oh, I have my answer. I thought we were going in rotation.
No, we got to find out intel because it's so the base is there's an evil Wishmaster monkey paw style djinn asking us these questions. You can't game them, or you're banished to the shadow realm. Butthole spiders.
I had my answer immediately because I like birds don't like me and I don't like them. So the thought of 10, and some people are like this. I've actually met like other people like this. I could be eating a hot dog at Disneyland, and a bird will like literally dive bomb me. At one of my old offices, it was only me, dude. It was only me, but we had a mockingbird, like mama bear nest established in a tree, and it was only me. It was only me that got attacked. Okay, so
you want to fuck up some birds?
No, I don't even want. I'm only in a position where I dislike birds because they don't like me so much, and I don't know what it is.
But your answer to this question is it retaliatory? Like you're gonna go into the bird game, or you're gonna like steer away from the birds?
100%, I would steer away from it because
You're fighting a honey badger. I see.
Yes, I will fight the honey
Ooh.
badger. I will take my chances, like 1v1 versus like 10
How tall is a honey badger?
Yeah,
crows.
who have some kind of like rage aura against you.
I will take my chances.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I know where I stand with birds, and I know where birds stand with me.
I like that.
Hmm.
Going into the unknown. Yeah, I'm reading the new Noobtown book, Wyatt.
Oh wait, did it one drop?
Yeah, one drop this month.
Oh my god.
The one we've been
I'm-
waiting on for like a year.
I'm so excited now.
Yeah. So badgers are a big part of that book. So
Very, very tight. Yeah, we've been waiting.
like, I don't know if I can. I mean, but the thing is, I love crows. Crow tech slabs, obviously, but crows are cool, man. Like, I don't have the same relationship with birds.
Not these crows.
They're well
That's good, yeah.
coordinated. Are they? Do they have tech?
No,
But
but I mean,
when you say well
crows
coordinated,
can use tools.
They
so,
yeah.
like,
So are they? Are we talking about like the 10 best crows I've seen on TikTok coordination level, like all working together?
sure.
You have crows on your TikTok
Yeah,
algorithm?
hell yeah, dude. They can do some stuff.
Hmm.
So like if I'm talking like the top 10 crow list, coordinated to fight me,
Coordinate is a problem.
that's the problem. I might have to also agree with Jake on this and have to go after that. Have to just risk being completely disemboweled by a honey badger.
Like, what's the best you can do? Like, try to befriend a crow, like, right? You can gift, if you gift a crow
Yeah, you
something.
give them shiny stuff.
If it was regular ass birds, I could punch them and shit. You know what I mean? Crows,
Yeah.
they're smart as shit, dude. They're like
But
smart
they're
as dogs.
coordinated crows.
They're smarter than
like,
dogs.
Dude, that's a big keyword.
Yeah.
Coordinated
Yeah.
crows.
Bro, yeah, they're gonna do all sorts of shit. They're fucking, bro. I've seen crows on TikTok completely solve puzzles and shit,
So
man.
supposedly they have to eat roughly 4% of their body weight in food daily, and more on colder days. Their diet includes carrion, small animals, berries, and even human trash.
People say in chat, John Patrick says crows can hold a grudge for 17 years. Superior Set says you have to fight a badger once. The crows have remembered history and hate an individual for generations.
Oh, see, that's why they go after Jake.
I'm one of them. I don't know what I did.
Somewhere in your lineage, an atrocity was committed against a crow.
Yeah.
crow
It has
people.
to be, man. It's probably because like I'm a cat lady. Okay, so like zodiac, Chinese calendar. Like I'm a Leo. I'm a tiger.
Mm.
I love cats. So maybe it's just that. Just got that cat energy.
I've been told recently there's two types of Leos. I think
Mateo-
I know which one you are.
Mateo says, "Don't Americans have guns?" I'm assuming we don't get guns in this fight.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just have guns.
Like
You
fist,
crows work in groups.
like we have to
like you
fist
do.
fight them
Yeah, you're in the octagon.
and octagon with these dudes. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, well, with a gun, I guess a bird shot. But it has been argued that crows are in the early Stone Age, like as a species.
Crows band together to mob predators.
Bro,
I stand by my
yeah,
original.
I'm going with you on it. I'm fighting.
Yeah.
I'm fighting one regular ass honey badger.
So honey badgers are only like 9 to 11 inches tall and 35 pounds. They're basically two cats in weight.
Hmm.
20
They're-
to 35
They
pounds.
they have ignore pain. They're immune
Well,
to pain.
sure.
They have feel no pain. They are -1 damage. Like if you were to 40k
Yeah,
them,
dude.
They-
They're definitely disgusting.
-1 to wound. Like way more wounds than they should have in their profile. Like, and they have like, billion attacks with claws.
I feel
Lock-
like once they charge you, you just hit them with a spade shovel and then like,
You, have to
You don't have a shovel.
You're an octagon, dog.
Yeah, you got to fist fight them.
oh, well. Don't let them bite you, I guess.
You have to use just to see if it's one badger. I think I could come out on top because we did this before when it was like we were trying to figure out if a massive silverback can beat a pack of honey badgers. I was like, one honey
Hmm.
badger, I will outthink him, right? Like I can beat him because I'm not stupid, like a fucking, like a lion. Like I'm like I know everything about this badger. I know his weaknesses. I know his strengths. Like I know what to avoid. Like. I think I could be, but I can't beat 10 crows circling around me using their early
Yeah, first of
early
all, they
Stone
can
Age
fly.
technology on me.
That's not even fair. They can fly. What the hell?
I'm 100% coming out of the crow fight. Even if I win, I'm 100% coming out of that fight missing an eye, no matter what. You know what I mean? Think about it.
True.
Minimum missing an eye. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
You, Rob, who are you fighting?
I guess I'm doing the honey badger because fighting no weapons, fighting 10 things flying around that are trained to work as a team. I don't feel like that's great odds.
Is there a time on this fight?
Birds are crazy.
Or is it to the death?
To the death.
We'll say to the death.
To the
That's
death.
More interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I could outperform the honey badger. I can win that. No
How
doubt.
much do crows weigh though?
Yeah, they're big, dude. I mean, not as big as
Yeah,
ravens.
they
I
are.
mean, birds are hollow boned, so they don't weigh much even if they're big birds, right? It's like the whole point of how they fly.
That's
Well,
fair.
yeah, but how much can they?
Rob doesn't know anything about flying.
How much force can they produce?
Enough to pull
11 to they're barely a pound each.
enough to pull your eyeball out of your head.
Yeah, if they get you down on the ground and jump you.
They're gonna circle you from 360 degrees, dude.
Maybe.
And they're gonna do that until you're dead or they're dead.
Seems like a problem. Yeah,
don't mess with birds, man. Don't mess with birds.
Garrett Quinn says honey badgers go for the nuts first. See, I know this. I know what their plan is. I don't know what the fucking crows are trying to do. Like, they're gonna make me 3 are gonna come in low like they're going for my nuts, while 2 circle around behind me and rip my ears off my head. Try fighting with no ears.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. I mean, if you've ever played Resident Evil 1, you know about some crows, so.
Oh man. Haven't thought about that one in a second.
That was
a big part.
traumatizing.
Yeah.
Getting through that section.
Yeah, Badger's gonna fuck me up. But my strategy is I'm gonna use my human endurance to just outpace him.
Yes.
Is the most casual pace possible for as long as I can.
Stamina is everything, especially with the zombies.
Not actually go head to head with him.
Okay. Yeah, I think maybe the honey badger's the way to go.
Unless you're trying to go in for a brawl. If you're trying to brawl a honey badger, it's bad. You know, I ain't trying to brawl him. I know he's coming at me. I'm gonna be backpedaling, circling, backpedaling, circling. I'm gonna do that for as long as I physically can do it before I strike.
Just gotta boop his snoot.
As Rob said.
That's my plan.
All right, let's thank you, Wyatt. Appreciate it. Good.
That was a terrifying game. Thank you, Wyatt.
Oh, we didn't. That was an easy one.
Let's move into. Oh yeah, we've had some weird controversial ones. Let's move into the news, Rob.
The hot dog one was fire last week. No, the other week. Yeah. So lots of interesting news this week. So new from Games Workshop. We got some new Kill Team releases. So if you're looking for those, can't tell you if they will super be available, but it seems like there's a lot of folks very much interested in them. But traditionally, unfortunately, the Kill Team bundle boxes are a bit allocated. So we'll see how this one goes. Who knows? The Blood and Zeal box is priced at $130 US, and that comes with the 2 separate kill teams, which will probably sell for $65 later on, if I had to guess. And that piece of Sisters of Battle Train, it came in their Cathedral Relic when they released there. And then also the separate kill teams, the Rekka Crew, which is the hand-to-hand versions basically of the Tank Busters for $65, and then also the separate Ratlings for $65 as well. They were the ones in the Brutal and Cunning box back in I want to say November, but I might be slightly off. Time has no meaning anymore. You may have seen on social media a little bit about and Carl Kopensky, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's one of the artists. I think we talked about him a couple weeks back when we were covering 40K art. So he's kind of had a if you're not up to speed with what's going on, he's had a few medical events. You can check it out on his Instagram and stuff. But basically, he's a 40K artist. He's done a lot of iconic covers. He also has drawn Magic the Gathering cards. Some of the big stuff that you might like kind of visualize the art is like the Ayaterra Codex cover, a lot of the Catachan art covers, box set covers, a lot of the Bretonian stuff, box art. For Magic the Gathering, he did a lot with Innistrad. Some recent cards, but some older stuff too. Like trying to think, like Aether Vial was one of his bigger cards. But anyways, so he's a young guy, relatively speaking. You know, he's in his early 50s, and he's had a bunch of medical issues, and he's asking, you know, he's like, hey, I'm going to be down and out. I'm still trying to draw, you know, it's therapeutic for me, but basically I can't use the whole side of my body. So, you know, hey, if you can help me out, that'd be great. And he's got a GoFundMe set up. And it's raised a lot of money, and that's really cool to see, because, you know, obviously it looks like a lot of money, but when you know, you kind of string it out over a certain amount of time, that, you know, you might not be able to actually earn a living, and being that young still, being an artist for all those years, that's a scary proposition. So if you enjoyed a lot of his art on any of these platforms, in game systems and such, you know, maybe think about at least, you know, throw him a $5 or something, because I'm sure he would definitely appreciate it. Great artist, and definitely did a lot of iconic pieces out there. It's definitely worth checking out. You can Google it. There's GoFundMe links. We got a Spiky Bits article covering some of the bigger stuff he's done, and a little couple of updates. And the guy's just he's insane. There's YouTube videos of him just, you know, straight up just drawing stuff out of nowhere. Like, all right, I'm just gonna draw this, and just start to finish. And it's just it's insanity. It's a talent. It's incredible to see, and, you know, obviously wishing him a speedy recovery, for sure. So on the product side of things, you know, we're kind of in that, like, hey, everybody's waiting to like show off new stuff at Adepticon and big announcements and things. But if you haven't got your Lucent Hobby Light yet from Game Envy, you might want to check that out, because they got caught up with their pre-orders. Here it is here. Well, this is the box.
Everybody driving to their jobs today. Listen,
yes,
Rob is holding up a box with the word "loosen" on it.
And so they're caught up with the pre-orders, and now they're kind of just filling them as you know, in a queue. I'm sure they're going to take a lot to Adepticon. So if you're at Adepticon and you haven't picked one of these things up, check them out there. And then, you know, they'll be back after a couple weeks or whatever, and get back up to speed there. But definitely a great product that, you know, I think it's one of the, we talked about the lights, like where they kind of fall in the scheme of things. And I think it's a great middle of the road. Like, this is great for everything, and it's a great price. Why not support, you know, a great hobby company here in the space? Because
American company doing hobby. A lot of companies out there do the same thing. You got to figure out where you want to spend your money and how much you want to spend. I'd say Game Envy is 10 out of 10 if you're looking for a light.
Yeah,
and buy the two pack, and buy the two, the bundle price.
Yeah, the 2-pack's a great price. Mm-hmm. Also, so the Humble Bundle for the Wrath and Glory RPG is over in, well, today's Wednesday, so it's over in 3 days on Saturday. It's $232 in PDF downloadable RPG books for $25. Great deal if you're thinking about getting into something a little different. Perfect time to pick it up, and it's got recent content as well, like including Space Marine 2 stuff. Or, you know, so I think if you enjoyed the video game and want to play something like that, might be right up your alley. definitely worth checking out, and it supports a great cause as well. And speaking of Space Marine 2, they announced that Space Marine 3 is officially happening. Not that we didn't know it was going to happen. Details are kind of, scarce, but it is happening. It'll be a few years out, but there is lots of information on that as far as some of the stuff they're looking to do. But they are still going to support Space Marine 2, and there's going to be lots more content and stuff coming out for that as well. So be on the lookout for that in a couple of years. Because that has definitely I spoke with somebody today, kind of explaining what I do here, and he's like, oh, so like Warhammer, and I was like, yeah, exactly, like Warhammer. And he's like, oh yeah, I played the video game, and I was like, which one? And he's like, Space Marine 2, and I was like, right on, yep.
Which one?
Well, I mean, because there's a lot of mobile games and things like
that.
that.
I mean, we've had a lot. I mean, Dawn of War.
Yeah.
So now.
So now it's Space Marine 2. It used to be like, oh, I played Dawn of War. Now it's Space Marine 2. So that was really cool to see and interact with somebody that was completely outside of the hobby, just completely understood what it was we do here. So that was fun. Hey Kenny, do me a favor and stall everybody for a minute. I want to go grab something that I need to show off that I forgot to grab earlier.
Okay, stall. Looking for Q&As, guys. We got Jake Jacobson on tonight. We're gonna be moving into a segment where we are asking him direct questions about Frontline Gaming and the future, and the big announcement that LVO is going to be in October, and that we have a double year. So feel free to ask your questions here in this segment. I'm copying and pasting them to a spreadsheet right now. That's my stall. Oh yeah, also
might need to talk about crows again if that was it.
And Tam Wolf asked a theoretical: Would you rather listen to Rob's dull voice doing the news or Kenny's most recent Long John Silver's story?
Long John Silver's are still around, definitively.
Are they though, or are they
no,
a
like,
money laundering
question.
front?
Are they?
That's the last I heard of them.
They exist, but do they actually sell fish?
It's mostly fish. The ones overseas sell actual fish. They're very particular.
Fish, right. Yeah. That's their slogan.
Yeah, fish, yeah. We
fish,
actually had a picture.
Yeah.
Thank you for stalling for me. So I got this like sweet set of terrain. Somebody on the podcast right now might have sent it to me. This is Frontline Gaming's District 13 set that you, for those of you driving that can't see what I'm holding up, it fits perfectly inside of a really useful box, the 17-liter one. And I got a chance to finally play with this set, and it makes all the layouts for the Pariah Nexus stuff. And what's really cool about it is it's the normal pre-painted stuff that they make.
Rob is holding up pre-painted terrain for everyone.
Yeah, it's like a little ruins corner. But what's neat about it is you can flat pack it, so they have these little
also he's not holding it up high enough for anyone to see. Oh. You're driving to work.
I can't see myself view. So they have these little like T-bar, kind of like locking peg systems. And what this does is you can slide these out, and then it all just kind of, the ruins itself will separate, and you can flat pack it down if space is an issue. But for me, it wasn't that big of an issue. I just made it all fit inside of one of these really useful clear plastic boxes.
Rob should hold it up higher.
I'm trying. But what's even better about the set is that it's super sturdy. And you can glue it together if you really want to, but the two middle sections, these ones right here, actually are reversible for some of the terrain layouts that you're going to need in Pariah Nexus. Yeah, it's shockingly dark in here, so it's kind of hard to see this, believe it or not. But it pops right apart. And then it just has this little, like, you know, little slot and slide system. And then it's just like, oh, hey, then I got the other piece here. And then you just lock it together. So if space is a consideration, you can flat pack it and it will definitely fit into, I mean, I don't know.
So pre-painted, modular, flat pack,
Yeah.
Nexus
Or
layout. But how much does a table cost?
so the table, and I believe, and Jake can obviously correct me, you get all the layouts, the train layouts with the neoprene mouse pad with a sweet design on them. And it switches it up. It's not all like repeated or anything like that. I believe it's 200 for the mouse pad layouts and the train. I might be misspeaking, but this is
He is giving you the thumbs up.
okay. Yes.
I'm just letting him run with it. He's doing great with this. Just so everybody knows, this is not a paid sponsorship.
Well, I mean, technically it is, because you did send it to me, so we do have to make that disclaimer. But I wouldn't talk about it if it sucked. But I did find that the really useful box, the 17-gallon one, fits it perfectly. You just have to lay down the big.
That's extra, right? See, that's free extra intel. 15-gallon Tupperware container from
bam, and they're stackable. So if you get another set or whatever else, you can, or your army, you can buy those magnetic sticker things to put in the bottom, so you can have your army on top and roll down to wherever you're playing, and you're good to go. But I was really impressed with the set.
So that's the one table Pariah Nexus modern GW layout.
Yeah, it's called District 13, I believe.
District 13.
Yep.
$200 for a table.
I'm never gonna paint train again.
With the neoprene mats though, that's huge. Because that's a big part of it. People don't realize, like, a lot of people are like, oh, we'll just get acrylic cutouts. Have you seen how much acrylic cutouts cost?
Acrylic is a problem right now. I'll be honest with you. And the acrylic is a neat idea for sure, because whatever mat you have for the whole table, then it seamlessly blends in, but it's still, you can still see where your ruin or your area terrain / ruins, depending on which one it is. But I think the neoprene might be superior.
It is superior.
Yeah.
It's friction. It's got friction. Like, I don't like slick ass, plastic to put my models on. I want.
That's also why, like, in this box, they don't like bounce around as much, because I put
when we switched to putting, neoprene tabletops on our game boards.
Oh my gosh!
When we made that switch as a culture, that changed the game, son. You know what I mean? Remember dice? Remember throwing dice on just a straight wood table? Dog. That was
it messes with the odds, first of all, and it would just.
First off, it pisses me off. It's so loud, dude.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
bro.
That's actually why we can, but we don't do double-sided neoprene mats because of that. Because we've all lived through that era.
Yeah, you need the
stuff sliding all over the place.
Like,
remember the Realm of Battle boards?
Yeah. She was terrible, bro.
Yeah.
I think the Realm of Battle boards would have been better if they did it in 1x1 squares instead of the 2x2, because it was too much. It was just too much, like, going on.
Yeah, Garrett Quinn said cock dice was like a constant. I was like, bro, I haven't cocked a dice in like 100 years, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, it's a game changer.
Yeah. So I was really impressed with that set of train there, and I immediately was like, well, I'm never painting train again. This is cool.
The reversible part's huge too. Actually, like on Top Table final stream at Cherokee, it was really funny because, like, it looked like an error, like, going into it. And mind you, this is 8 rounds, like, Top Table, so like everybody's kind of burnt out already, and so everybody's trying to figure out the train. Like, no, this is not right. It's like, okay, that's what we're here for. And so we, like, reverse it, and everyone's like, oh my god. So as, like, there's a lot of, like, tournament organizers out there as well. And we love supporting, like, events as well. Like, we're not just event runners. We're not just, like, train builders, not whatever. We're the whole package. But the flexibility that this terrain set was built in mind with addresses that. Because if you only have, like, a fixed built or like a fixed ruin and that's all it can do, then you know, as an event runner, so like if you run your own event, then you're only limited to be able to do those layouts.
Yeah.
And anybody that's like even throwing an RTT like on their own, like even building like 8 tables by yourself, that sucks.
Hmm.
So to be able to have the flexibility to do as many layouts as possible, and you know, kudos to GW for the current like layout rules for match play. There's a lot of flexibility.
Well
So it
said.
works. Yeah.
Well said. I agree. I concur. Let me ask you a question. Do I don't know the business model, but like, do you guys do wholesale accounts to other game stores and stuff like that for the things like this terrain?
We sure do.
Yeah,
And
I heard it.
it's very, very popular too. Like I said, we love supporting
So
events, man. Like we've
think
been
about
about the
it.
community.
If you're
So
running a game store and you're trying to get events off and terrain is a problem,
Yeah.
you wholesale Frontling Gaming. It's not $200 MSRP for your tables now. You see, so now you're in a completely different, very equitable cost coefficient for running a 12-man event this month.
Well, and the time savings for literally not having to paint terrain. The
That's
only
what I'm
thing you technically have to glue down on those is the like, you know, the parts that go on the flats, like the, you know, like
the
maybe
decorative.
the door. Yeah, the decorative, the door, or like, you know, there's like an air conditioning unit or like,
It's there. That's there for this group of people, but
Right.
there's this other group of people who just gonna leave those in the box. You know, like it's perfect. That's exactly why I asked that question, because like people are always trying to get events off the ground, and terrain is one of the biggest parts. And Rob actually has an article that maps out how much it costs as a prestigious game store owner in the past, as he was. And bro, this is a deal. Like this saves you money, like preposterous.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that's awesome to hear. And it's not new, right? People been pre-painted terrain has been very popular for a very long time. But the fact that we're in a current layout rule set, having standardized layout option, like you need to be able to get it. That's what that's always been my issue with, like, you know, Frontling Gaming innovated the player place terrain. They brought that back, right? So player optimized. To me, that's the greatest invention, because that accounts for everyone's bag of bullshit terrain. You know what I'm saying? That accounts for my bin of garbage at my local game store. If I get to put my pieces down with the rules and you get to put, it's all good. But the problem with layout is it doesn't account for my bin of garbage. Layout is very specific. And if everyone has those specific pieces, it is superior. I acknowledge that.
And
how do we get those pieces? Well, people are making them and selling them now. Frontline Gaming, specifically in this episode of the podcast.
and this is going to dovetail also into when we get back from Adepticon or the week after's topic, because this actually came into play personally for me in a game recently that was was very interesting, and I learned a lot from that game. And we're gonna talk about that here in the next podcast or two.
I got a question about this terrain. When you put it together, can you reverse it? Like, because as we know, every however many months, Games Workshop likes to be like, oh, all these companies just made a bunch of left-hand L's. Let's make all of our L's right-hand now.
Yeah, they're all reversible. So like all the big runes and even like the little mini runes, they're just reversible. Just pop them out. So you don't have to glue actually anything on this, like Rob was saying, like except for the decorative. But yeah, that was the big ploy, because like we've ran into that before too. And sometimes we run into this error on the tabletop within some of the events because it's like it's the wrong way around.
Well, every now and then you show up and you realize we have too many left-handed L's.
Yeah.
And but if it's reversible, no problem.
If you're watching live, I put a link in the chat there with a picture of some game setup on the table, how it looks, and how it looks in the box with the lid off.
Good job, Rob. How's your news? Is that it? Do we do a commercial?
Yeah, that's about all we got. It's like I said, it's been a little quiet, but I'm sure after Adepticon we'll have lots to talk about.
It's gonna be a banger. So we got a lot of action. So let's take a quick commercial break. hear from our sponsors. And as soon as we come back, we're going to be pressing Jake with some gentle back pressure to answer some questions. And we're back. So in the show notes that Rob put together for me, I have a few questions here. And this is community questions. We're going to get Jake to answer some questions and maybe get Wyatt to lend some intel or some feedback as well, because he's our resource matter expert when it comes to competitive play. So first question is the most direct question. What all does Frontline Gaming actually do, Jake?
It's even a hard question for us to ask. We're just a bunch of nerds, really, when it breaks down to it. But we're divided out into several pieces. So we manufacture mats and terrain and accessories. We run large-scale events. We have also things like painting commission studios, which was basically like, I think, one of the oldest segments. It was basically Reese back in the day.
Oh wow.
Painting for, because he's a super talented painter too. Like he was like he's essentially just started the studio, right?
Yeah.
And then we're retailers, distributors, so like, you know, the whole e-commerce portion of the gaming business. But all things considered, we call ourselves the one-stop tabletop gaming shop. Pretty sure I flubbed that, but I think I drove the point home.
You did. Wyatt, you have any feedback on that?
No, I mean, like, that's pretty much right? So FLG is not just guys that put on tournaments. They're a whole bunch of different things.
Well, I think, you know, to their credit, I think that's just kind of the way you have to be in any business nowadays. You know, diversification of income streams.
100%.
Yeah. And it's smart because it's, I don't want to say it's vertically integrated, but it definitely exists in its own ecosystem that feeds off itself. In a lot of ways, so it's smart.
Yeah,
it's smart positioning.
Well, so obviously we're gonna talk about LVO tonight. So a big part of Frontline Gaming for everyone listening at home is the event coordination. So you create the events, make them very popular, but also you sell the stuff that people need for the events, right? So like, yeah, it's kind of like genius, as Rob was talking about. You know, like I love that. And also quick history, as we've been doing that. I mean, like, how many years we started podcasting like 2011 or some shit, right, Rob? And it's like,
yeah, long worse. I think 10 this year.
And we started. You started like 2009. I started 2010. Like, started for like gaming.
Yep,
we all kind of
2010.
started in that year, and so we've been parallel to the growth and success of Reese and Frankie, right? Like the two friends, as Jake mentioned. We've taken like adversarial stances against them, East Coast West Coast rivalry stances. We've been, but also like real deals. Like Reese is one of my best friends. Like I've been friends with that guy for over a decade, right? So like that's all fun. It's all fun and games, man. Like we have watched these guys unite a fiefdom. Because like back, and this is gonna feed into some of the Q&As I got for you, Jake. But like GW used to put on the only show in town. It was the grand tournaments, the games days, everything like that, right? Then they left us. CEOs changed, company strategies changed. They left us. They pulled out. So then what we had was a bunch of territories, kind of like the old days of pro wrestling, with a bunch of different ideas on how shit should be run. And those were kind of like some of the guys who were running that were some of the old school best generals of the old school GW format, where best overall with soft scores and high scores is win. So then you saw it move toward win-loss. But you still saw a complete lack of unification. You saw some people try with the INET FAQ and things like that. But then eventually, Frontline Gaming kind of pulled ahead, became the NFL, and standardized it and came out with shelf-stable FAQs, like new stuff, right? So I watched them just grow in this concept and the stability, and then become this huge company that puts on that's breaking records every year. Again, like having you on the show, Jake, congratulations. You guys did it. You broke 1,000 for singles play in the history of mankind.
Mm-hmm.
It happened. LVO 2025, man. That's fucking crazy.
It was wild. It was wild. That was the goal. It's like, how sick would it be to see four digits?
Like,
But
Man,
dude,
speaking of the old days,
yeah, you
I
guys know the
sometimes-
history like even more because you guys got started. Sorry, Ryan, around
No,
the
you're
same
good, dude.
time. But that's kind of like if I had to summarize FLG in a casual format, and I'm the new kid on the block, so like there's things that I come in with my fresh opinions with. There's, while I respect the entire history of, like what this company is built from the very like early days, it's I can summarize it casually as like, hey, what does FLG do? Well, we're gamers, and if something seems cool or exciting to us, we act on it. And that's pretty much how everything started. So it's honestly like spot on. Spot on.
thank you.
LVO being one of those things too.
For sure. Wyatt?
Oh, I was just saying, speaking of the old days, sometimes I long for the 40K champs packet.
No, we do. When
Dude, there's been some time.
There's been some
I think
times
it's a 10th edition
yeah.
syndrome. Like there's been some times where I'm just like, God, I wish that we could have the like secondaries and like the scoring from the old champs packet.
Oh,
Like
man.
it wasn't like perfect, but it was
No.
what we needed for the time. So I don't know that it would
they
actually
weren't
cross
the
over
heroes
right
we
now,
deserved,
like,
but they were the heroes we needed.
yeah, it's just like sometimes I kind of miss that. Like there's times when GW is like,
When Ninth
good
dropped,
job, gold star, and there's sometimes where I'm like, God, I wish these guys weren't in control of shit.
yeah, Wyatt, when Ninth dropped, that was one of our first things. When Ninth dropped with all the secondaries, and it was all very a la Frontline Gaming champ pack, right? We were like, man, can it just be the chance pack? Like
Yeah, initially I had a lot of pushback against the like the GT packet, the GT book, whatever they wanted to call it. There's been like 6 of them, but there's been times where I'm like, I miss the way that we used to have stuff because there wasn't like, oh well, if I'm playing Scorched Earth and I go first, I'm at this massive disadvantage on the primary game because if you go second in the last turn, you can just be like, bop, 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 burn. I just got like 30 primary points and win the game. Like, stuff like that didn't happen in the old pack. And so it's just like,
and it
was it the
changed a lot.
greatest thing
And it
ever?
changed
No,
constantly.
but
Like it got fixed in real time all the time. So it just really shows you, like as Kara Quinn in chat said, ITC was a game changer. They were. So that a more credential establishment as we move through this. Jake, Frontline Gaming events, they're typically this is a topic, I guess. Frontline events, exciting, general news, positive, notable changes. So give me something. Like you guys are typically news positive. You said you're the new kid in the block. Give me something. Like, give me a notable change.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm there. Yeah, always trying to be like forward, forward driving always. And that's I would say that's a relatively like big change too, is having, like having or being a new kid on the block that's, helping with the initiatives and stuff, is because like this everything that FLG does has been like well established for like I think it's hitting the 15-year mark this year, right? The climate has changed, the landscape has changed, the business has like, dude, like just even the manufacturing end on Frontline for the last 4 to 5 years is when it just took off. And that's a lot of growth. And for as big of a company that a lot of people, and rightfully so, think that Frontline Gaming is, at the end of the day, we're still only 14 people with everything that we do. Like even on the event side, there's primarily only about 2 or 3 of us that are actively like working on even events, including the LVO. Like we're not talking about the people that's, like the on-site type of staff and the TOs. Like the core Frontline Gaming team is really small in comparison to what we do. So naturally, it's like constantly trying to find time and push for that forward momentum to do the next cool thing or to do the next exciting thing. is always at the forefront. But it's never easy to accomplish because of how spread thin we are, right? But I think a lot of people know our company for being large format event runners. So that's going to be a very, very big focus. That's the experience, that's the weekend getaways, that's the memories, if you will, which is exactly like what drew me to the hobby, is like literally the hangouts. And I understand why events is such a big segment just within the gaming community. So that's kind of like ground zero of like where we're starting. So like some of the cool stuff is I know we are shaking things up, but we'd like to think for the better. Joining on to mini sub circuits or regional circuits throughout. Like working with the Texas circuit on being part of their regional event, because at the end of the day, like, we're guests. That's the way I see it. It's like we're guests within each of these regions. Like, our home base is Vegas, well, originally like Bay Area, but like our home base is the West Coast. So like any event that we've scattered around outside of there, like, I consider us being guests. With Cherokee in North Carolina, we recently jumped on to, and we're very graciously invited to the SJ, the Southeast Gaming Alliance, and stuff like that is really important. It sounds like, okay, well, what does that matter? It's because of what I was saying, is like we are guests. Like, anytime you're running an event that's not like actually like ran by locals, it's just respects within the community in the States. So, expanding upon our existing community base and like the experience that we strive to present at an event, it's one thing to have quality terrain that we stand by, that we literally, if we complain about, our own tables, that's kind of how it started. It's like, okay, well, we need to make a new terrain set. If we don't like something about our mats, it's because we were inconvenienced by it, just like everybody else. So being like community driven, that's what's fueling a lot of the directions, the directional decisions that we take. But that's part of it. It's the most exciting parts about what's happening this year is really trying to reestablish and remind everybody that, like, we're trying to stand by our slogan, being champions of the community. And we want to remind everybody that literally like 90% of our decisions are community driven. It's not just like, oh, I feel like this, so I'm going to do this. It's that, that's not the kind of company that, FLG's really realistically like ever been. So I know that's like got a lot of layers to it as far as like a response goes, because it's not like simple and direct things, but that is the driving force. And I think that's even more important to kind of share, where it's like, well, where are any of our changes or our decisions or our motivations stemming from? And it's that. So
well said. We got a question from Ganny NJ. He says, with all the added space for LVO, which game systems are coming back that got cut out of the space over the years? And any events completely new to LVO?
Awesome question. And that's that was like such a big part of like why we even considered moving this event. So we've got Middle Earth,
Oh, wow.
Conquest, Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, shit. My man Mike Haspel is going to be happy to hear this.
Malifaux.
Oh, wow.
Malifaux. Damn.
Still going?
It sucks to, like, when I heard that, like, we literally had to cut, that really sucks, man. Like, that's the opposite of what we're trying to be about.
Yeah.
And Middle Earth had like 75 plus players the year before.
I mean, LVO presents the opportunity for, like, my buddy, like, so Arthur, our CFO and financial guru and CPA of our hearts, who helps us run the Longboard Doubles, who I think you may have talked to, or maybe not, he was playing Old World at LVO, and he was reveling in the attendance. He's been hard on that. And he was just like, it gives me the opportunity to just be like, I played at the biggest event in Old World history.
Yeah.
Like, that's what LVO does. Is it gives you this destination to have, like, even if it's 70 people, that's like all the people in the world, man, that play that game. Like, don't cut them. Give them this place to go.
Exactly.
Dude,
it really just sucks to say no. Like, And the only reason we were able to like give Old World more space is because we had some attrition over at like Sigmar or whoever else was sharing within the hall.
Yeah,
So
man.
like those are just like 5 games that I remember off the top of my head that are like definitively returning because it's uncapped at this point. That's what happens, and I guess when we have like 2.5, 3 times the amount of square footage, but that's like a huge ploy or a huge portion of like what that brings. As far as like new programs, dude, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. We've already got TCGs confirmed, so we're working with someone that's
Sounds fun.
very, very well established within the TCG world. So we've got Wizards of the Coast that already approved. Us running Magic,
That's wild.
Flesh and Blood, Lorcana. There might be a there might this is a very timeline might be a debut of a new game of a new card game.
That's wild.
So just even that alone, we're on the low, expecting like another 500, card game players attending the LVO, with a max cap of 1,200.
I've got a question from Scrooge McCluck.
Yeah.
So I got two like maybe harder to answer questions. So Scrooge McCluck says, has much changed since the partnership with GW event wise, like the way the event was ran in the past?
What?
Yeah, can we elaborate on that?
I'm assuming what he's saying is the industry knows, or the community knows, that there's a partnership with GW now, and that has been somewhat of a controversial topic in the zeitgeist of Warhammer 40k event goers and enjoyers. So, has much changed that GW has come back and has partnered with LVO and is actually a part of running these events? Like your autonomy, I'm assuming, is what he's referring to.
I'm gonna make an assumption about like what that question or where that question comes from, because this was this I was asked this like somewhat recently too, because there has been like a rumor or confusion that GW bought Frontline Gaming or GW like owns Frontline Gaming, and I think where that stems from is a few years back, GW purchased the ITC, which is the tournament circuit and the algorithm that we had established. But no, like the companies are completely separate. Any sort of like partnership stems from a relationship, be it a working relationship or a personal relationship, where it makes sense for them to help support events like ours, just like they support Adepticon
Yeah,
and Nova.
GW
Yeah.
supports it gives product support. Well, since they came back, and that I suppose would be the one thing that people could always point to, is that they just straight abandoned everything for a number of years, because that left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. But yeah, GW supports everybody. They just happen to have purchased the ITC, right?
Yeah,
that's
and I think that's where the confusion comes from. Yeah,
yeah. It's
because
you commented to what the
Yeah.
controversial hot take
Yeah.
is, which you said no, like they don't own us, they didn't buy us, we're partners, they own the ITC. Like that's what I expected you to say. So that's what that's the meat of that question, right? Is like, because there's a lot of misconceptions in the community about that. Now here's one. This actually got asked a lot. Living Tribunal asked, does Frontline Gaming still pay the ITC winners each season?
Pay them?
Yeah.
I believe that was only a 1-year thing where they had the big check.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, for ITC, so we haven't owned the ITC for, I think we're going on our 3rd year. So like all the awards and the prize support and all that for the ITC has been administered by Games Workshop. Which has, up until this past LVO, which has always ended, the ITC season has always ended at the LVO. So we haven't administered anything prize support wise. The LVO awards, however, because event specific awards, yeah, we've always done that, and with LVO comes some pretty big prize support.
Yeah, that's fair.
Some 4-digit like prize credits.
And I think you
from this last one,
you furthered clarified that they're two different things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it makes sense.
And it should be less confusing now because also GW announced, which makes total sense, is that now the ITC awards and the season ends at the World Championships of Warhammer, which is now a month after, so in November, from the new LVO's date. So
Speaking of which,
people can draw some parallels there.
Speaking of which, let's talk about that for 1 second before we get out of here for the night. Scrooge McCluck also asks, why move the event to October? More availability, et cetera, which you pretty much elaborated on, but I'm going to elaborate on the guy's question. So, moving to October, you told me about that at LVO this year. This year, having a twofer, right? That means like this year is a double, right? Like that means we have 2 LVOs this year. Do you expect a growth year still, even with that, or do you expect a little bit of a slower, like a hold the line year? What are you guys expecting?
Yeah, I mean, at the very best, expecting a hold the line year when it comes to like each tournament's attendance. Like, believe me, like it was not a decision made lightly.
But it has to be done.
Measure.
That's the thing. It has to be done whenever you announce it, because people don't realize this. It's like if you're saying as a company, we expect a certain amount of revenue to occur every January. But then we're saying we got to move this thing to October so we can get the events that we want. You can't just not make the money in the January that follows the year and have a 10-month like hiatus in revenue. Like you have to do it this year, which in your heart means there's a bunch of people who aren't going to come because they can't do 2 in 1 year. So the first year is hard. Yeah. So you expect to grow. You expect to hold the line this year. But I actually been thinking about this a lot. October is just a straight up better month. There's a lot of people who didn't go in January.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Who will go now because it's October.
Dude, holidays be expensive, man. I don't know if you bought Christmas presents this year.
Have you guys heard of Christmas?
Yeah.
You guys heard of Christmas? That shit is.
But the tickets for LVO traditionally go on sale in June, and now they're going on sale in May, which is only a month difference for a 3 months difference in event. So, I mean, if I think for people that always went to the event, and don't get me wrong, I don't, but just looking at it objectively, if I would have to fork out my money in June for my ticket and such, now I just have to fork it out a month earlier. I as a person probably wouldn't, that did that in a regular pattern, I probably wouldn't be mad about that personally. No. And then I have more money in October because it wouldn't be the holidays yet. So
the issue isn't the date in the future. The issue is 2025 LVO. Because, like, for example, I can't go. I can't commit to having have gone into Vegas this January, right after Christmas, and then going again this same year in October. So I feel already that financial burden of being like, there's no way I can swing that. So I know other people feel that, but I know at least an equal amount of people are saying like, well, I didn't go in January because I couldn't swing it, but I could definitely swing it this October in 2025. Yeah. You know, but moving forward, 2026, October is way better.
Dude, everything stabilizes come 2026, and we knew that too. But like realistically, like we're not like, dude, like we've been around for a minute, right? Like we consciously knew that it was going to be a bit of a disruption to a lot of people. So like where I think I'm saying like, hey, realistically it's a hold the line year because with TCG coming in with 500 to 1,000 extra people, that might balance out, like even on the worst case of scenarios, like attendance might remain the same. So
you had to do it this way. It makes sense to me. You have to do it this
way. The more I'm talking to TOs and just like attendees, because it's just like you said, for the one person that can't make it because it's a double or whatever it is, we're hearing like 10 other people saying like, hell yeah, dude, I can actually go. Mm-hmm. I haven't been able to go to the last like 2-3 LVOs, and that was the draw. Separate note, we don't have to dwell on this one, but you being part of a tournament organizer program there, Kenny, for the long war, that's a separate conversation about the economics of what we've redone for FLGTOs.
I can't wait to actually have that conversation because long war doubles is out of control right now.
It's got to happen.
This we're going to Adepticon obviously in a couple, like next week. We got 157 teams signed up, man. Like it's if we got the space and we got the dates, Like it's a completely different situation. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
if we actually run this thing on a day that doesn't end the event, it actually get 300 people. So it's
Well, I mean, I don't know if we get 300 out there, but we definitely get more.
yeah. Well, obviously we can get more. We're only getting about 100 people, which is hilarious to say that in a negative connotation.
Yeah, only. Only.
Yeah, we just run a super major. It's fine.
Yeah,
dude.
no big
No big deal.
It's which is funny to say that. God, this game has grown so much.
Yeah, so much.
God, man, we used to travel to another state to play in a 30-man event, dude.
Yep.
I remember like some of the first long war doubles where we were at, what was it, like SoCal Games
Yeah.
and Comics in Temecula. There's like 20 people.
20 people. Yeah, dude. We used to just, I mean, it was wild, dude. Yeah. So I rescind my previous statement. All
Now
right.
we hope everyone can make it and see it kind of in that timeline light where it's, yeah, we understand it's 2 in 1 year, like literally, but it's really like we're pushing the timeline up by 3 months. And like, you know, like Rob said, the ticket purchasing happens within the same timeline, maybe a month earlier. But that's why we're rushing to get the date out so like everybody could save the date. But like really, you know, it comes down to like the community if they like what they see, because right now we're scrambling and fucking not sleeping to try to get all the information out before tickets go on sale. You know, because I'm a huge believer in that. It's like, let's have all the information out about what changes. Let's figure out the locker, you know, the army storage situation, the shuttle busing, the transportation options, like all that jazz. But the name of the game and the goal is to even like further provide value into this program, and that's what this venue allows us to do.
Yes.
Maybe not in the first year, like we understand like what's going to happen, you know, or what could happen for this first event, but you know, we're going to do our best to whatever we need to do to like really prove to everybody like why this is a benefit, like why this had to happen.
Yeah, it has to. Like it can't just be like in a casino convention center anymore. Like it has to.
Dude, casinos can't take an LVO, man.
No.
Like it's pulling teeth. They're just not built for it. No. They're built for like conferences. We're not a conference.
Yeah.
We need 16,000, you know, 6-foot tables to not house, you know, 100,000 people like they're used to.
Yeah. It's a convention now. It's a real ass convention now. Like it's time. I'm so happy for it. But hey, let's get ready to shut it down. Let's kick it on up. Thank you, Jake, for kicking it with us tonight. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Stepping by.
Yeah, thank you guys.
This will be out for tomorrow for everyone's drive to work. Wyatt. Oh, also, I guess we're not going to be on next week because we'll be at a
yeah.
So this is no stream next week, guys. No podcast next week. We apologize, but then we're gonna have the after action the following week. It's gonna be dope. The whole gang's together, so it's gonna be amazing. And the new venue, speaking of new convention venues, right? Like Adepticon now is in Milwaukee, which I'm excited in some ways to see. But Wyatt, you want to take us out of here?
Rob?
So that's it for this one. Thanks everybody for watching. Again, thanks Jake for being on tonight. And what was it? Haspel wasn't feeling well. We didn't kick Haspel off, right?
No, Haspel was feeling sick tonight, and we had a guest anyway, so it worked out.
Oh well, all worked out good. All right. So for exclusive content, early access videos, and more, make sure to head on over to thelongwar.net and become a veteran of the Long War today.